Hello there, and let me wish you a very, very happy new year for 2023. So here we are, January 2023, we've arrived. And let's be honest, last year was fairly challenging for most of us. Lots of different reasons, rising costs of living, a war in Ukraine, and lots of other problems and challenges. Some on the international scale that seem very, very large, and what can we do about that? But also in our own personal lives, there have been lots of different challenges that have come along and perhaps made us think, where are we going? What's going on? And how can I make things better? Now, one of the questions we get asked here literally all of the time here at UKCPD is, how can I make things better for myself and my family? How can I improve life generally? How can I accelerate my personal or indeed professional development and enhance the amount of happiness or success that I can have? Well, this time of year, beginning New Year, January, we often think about setting goals for ourselves, or it's often termed as New Year's resolutions. Now, one of the things about New Year's resolutions, of course, is that more often than not, nothing ever happens about them. We set them, or we sort of decide, maybe we've been at a party, what are you going to do this year? Oh yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to lose some weight, I'm going to change my job, etc., etc. But of course, what actually happens is not a great deal of activity. Now, there's a reason for that, and we've talked about well-formed outcomes in the past in some of these videos. But what we're going to do in this particular video is help you really think about, okay, what do I actually want and how might I go about getting it? So what do I actually want and how might I go about getting it? So in effect, helping make in 2023 the year for building your success. Now, as always, I've got a couple of slides here to share with you. Now, there's not too many, there's just a few to help you really begin to focus on what you might really, really want, and then sort of the formula, if you will, about how to figure out how you're going to actually get there and make your goals a reality. So I'm just going to add in some slides to the stream here. Here we go. So hopefully you can all see those slides, and I'll sort of comment as we go along. And one of the things here is this is I'm going to say interactive. Obviously you're watching a video, but be sure to have a pen and paper to hand. Now, if you haven't, pause the video right now and go get some pen and some paper, and ensure that you've got some time to complete the exercise. It's going to take about half an hour or so, or thereabouts. So just be sure you've got some time, maybe turn your phone off, etc., and just sort of settle down and work your way through this particular exercise that's contained in this video so that we can help make 2023 the year for building your success. Okay, so let's get started. So New Year's resolutions, I've already talked about this. Invariably, they do not work. They just don't work. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but the primary one, of course, is because they're not well-formed outcomes. Now, in previous videos, you'll know, if you're a sort of regular viewer of our broadcasts and our video content, that well-formed outcomes is from NLP, and it really does enable the person setting the outcome or the goal to have a 99.9% chance of success. Now, it's all about strategy. It's about having the right resources, or the right mental sort of approach, and a realistic idea about what is possible for you at a particular time in life. So this notion of well-formed outcomes is important. Now, setting goals for yourself is motivating, but it can't be so big that it becomes like, I'm never going to get there. So oftentimes we encourage people that less is more. Small, gradual changes in both our personal or either our professional life is super important. Big goals, great. That's the big vision for life. I want to have the house on the hill. I want to have that great holiday with my family. They're great. But how are we going to get there? So we want to break it down into smaller chunks. Now, we'll get to goal setting in a little bit later on, but we've got a little bit of an exercise for you before we even get that far. So the ideas that we say we want in our future, maybe New Year's Eve, you've been out with your friends, you've had a couple of drinks, you're really enjoying maybe the fireworks or spending time with your family and your friends. People say, what are you going to do? What's your New Year resolution? What's new for you in the coming year? We make all these kind of random statements. And then, of course, it never happens. And because of that, and it's an unfortunate thing that what happens is because it doesn't happen, or we don't sort of make that kind of progress, we begin to tell ourselves that, well, change is super hard, if not impossible. And we can't set goals because it doesn't work for us, or it's so difficult, or the slightest thing comes along and it knocks us off course. And that's not a useful thing, because actually having some goals in our life is very, very powerful, and it really does help us move forward, both personally and professionally. So the possibility of real and lasting personal or indeed professional change is possible. It is possible. You can make progress in your life. You can make progress in your career. Now, the thing is, clarity as well as a well-formed plan, these are the key ingredients, if you will, to setting and achieving successful outcomes and goals. So, as I've said, we've got a plan here to work your way through. So let's work on your success right now. Okay, I've already said this, but make sure you've got some time to sit and complete the exercise. Have pen and paper to hand, ensure maybe your phone is set to silent, or other sort of notifications on your computer if you're watching on your computer, your laptop or whatever, or set to silent, or turn off your email or whatever it is, and take a couple of deep breaths, kind of settle down, and okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to think about what I might want new for me, or indeed my family, in 2023. Pen, paper, time. That's all we need right now to work through this particular exercise. So if you're ready, we will begin. Now then, in the next slide, I have 3 questions for you. And I really want you to take time to respond and write down your answers, because we're going to use those as part of this process. So here we go. Question 1. What is the one thing I or you would like to change during 2023? One thing you'd like to change in 2023. What is the one thing I want to improve on during 2023? One thing I want to improve on in 2023. So a change and an improvement. And once you've written down the answer to those questions, what goal can you write down on this piece of paper that you should have with you that encapsulates the answers to the first 2 questions? Now, the reason for this is oftentimes the improvement is the new thing, or the new thing is what will cause the improvement. Now, if that doesn't work for you, you just answer one of those questions. What new thing do you want to happen? What's the clear goal that you want? But more often than not, if we ask these type of questions, what's the one thing we'd like to change? What's the one thing we want to improve on? They tend to be similar or related to each other. Now, what I'd like you to do is take some time to think about this. So pause the video if you can, and just take a moment, think about, okay, what is that one thing I would like to change? What is that one thing I want to improve on? How can I put that into the one sentence version that really covers the things I want to see new for me in my life during 2023? Pause the video and take a moment. So hopefully you've done that, and you have something on the paper that says something about the future that you might want. Now, oftentimes we bang our heads and we think, oh, I'm not sure. There's lots of different things. Or I think I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do the other thing. Or I just can't think. I know I need to make a change. I feel a little bit stuck state, a bit sort of stagnant. I'm in a rut. I want to make a change. I feel frustrated in life. The coaching wheel, or the wheel of chance, or the wheel of opportunity, whatever you want to call it, can be a useful tool to use. Now, you can easily do this for yourself. Just draw a circle, divide it up as you can see here on the screen, and then in the little boxes or around the outside, just write down some of these types of things. It could be anything, to be honest with you. Something maybe around your career, perhaps around relationships, maybe having some more fun in your life. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Maybe you want to get onto some real deep learning new skills, new knowledge, new wisdom that you want to develop, maybe for your personal life, so deep personal development, or maybe something around your professional career. You want to develop new skills and new qualification for your professional career. Maybe it's more money you need to have to pay all of those bills that keep coming in. So maybe how can I earn more money? Maybe something about your environment, maybe your living environment or the garden, or you want to go somewhere else for a holiday perhaps. Or at this time of year, we often think about our health. Maybe it's something to do with our health, maybe some losing weight, maybe getting a little bit fit, any of those type of things. So it's easy enough to do. So here's an example. just kind of like this around, and that will help you decide perhaps what it is that you want. Because on a scale of 1 to 10, as you can see in this slide here, 10 being I'm maxed out on that, it's fantastic, 1 being there's a real issue here. As you can see in this example, you end up with this kind of a wonky wheel. As you can see in this example, career, money, environment, and maybe even health are not so great for this particular individual as an example, whereas partner, family, friends, etc. seem pretty good. So once again, take a moment and just draw a circle and draw out the lines just like you see on the screen right now. Even if you've managed to answer the questions in the previous slides, do this anyway, and you'll see why in a second. So once again, pause the video and complete this particular exercise. Okay, so hopefully you have done that. If you haven't, be sure to do that. Now, let's make some comparisons. Going back to what you wrote down before you did the second exercise, is there a correlation or is there a big difference? Or is it, yeah, I've got that about right. That seems to be about right. This is the thing that I really want to make a difference in, an improvement in, some personal or indeed professional growth in. If it's that, great. If not, go back and really look here and say, okay, I've answered those questions. What really is the area that I want to focus on first? Now, remember, it's great to have lots and lots of goals, but really to make progress, we need 1 or maybe 2 to work on at any one time. 1 is better. 1 is better because we're focused like a laser beam. There's lots of different things we're trying to work on. We end up doing very little about any of them, and we get disheartened because we think, oh, I'm not getting any progress. So less is more, 1 or 2, but 1 is better, because you can always go on to the next one afterwards once you achieve the first one. So once we've got the answer to that, we move on to the next part of the process. So what I'd like you to do now is on another piece of paper, if possible, write down the answer to the following question. My goal for personal or professional, whichever it is for yourself, it could be both, of course, for success in 2023 is whatever that is. On a piece of paper, nice and clear in big letters. 1 sentence, not a whole paragraph, because the whole paragraph, it's not clear. The 1 sentence version. My goal for personal and or professional success during 2023 is... Okay, pause the video and write it down. Great, so hopefully you have paused the video and you have written it down. If you haven't, do it now. Okay, we'll imagine that you've done it. Okay, so you've got your written down goal in nice clear letters. My goal for 2023 is whatever it is. Okay, let's move on. Now, most people are familiar with the notion of SMART goals. They use a lot in organizations and workplace, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. We're all familiar with that. The problem with this is it's not what we would call in NLP in particular well-formed. There's a little few things missing here. So we've kind of changed SMART into SMARTS. We've tweaked it, if you will. We've NLP'd it, if you will. So it's SMARTS. So yes, it needs to be specific. It needs to be measurable. It needs to be achievable, resourced. There needs to be a time frame, and we want to be clear about the steps, in particular, the first step. And this is around the strategy of how we're going to get where we want to go. Now, what I'd like you to do is to have your goal on 1 piece of paper on one side of your desk or wherever you're sat. And on another piece of paper, I'm going to be asking you a set of questions in relation to your stated goal, your stated outcome. And what I'd like you to do is answer the questions, but write down your answers as we work your way through. And I will take my time. And you can always pause the video if I'm going a bit too quick and you need to think about it. And actually, that's a key point. Feel free to pause the video at any point if you think, right, it's going a bit too quick. I need to think about my answers. Because oftentimes when we just do it, it's the wrong answer. We might need to go inside ourselves, have a little think about, okay, how could I do this? What resources do I have? Who could I call? Who could help me with this? What kind of clarity do I need? What would be the first step? And so on and so on. But I'll ask you lots of additional questions as we work our way through. So this is the SMARTS thing: specific, measurable, achievable, resource, time framed, and steps, in particular, the first step. So I'm imagining that you've got something written down, but in a normal sort of coaching session, I might ask questions like, what do you want? Be clear, be specific, all of those kind of things. But because we've done that first part, I'm going to imagine you have something written on that nice piece of paper. So how motivated are you to make this happen in your life on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being, it'd be nice, but 10 being, I'm really desperate for it. I want it. It's something that I really have thought about. It will make a big difference in my life. Now, the thing about that is, if it's 1, you're never going to do it. Clearly, you're just never going to do it. If it's 10 or close to 10, then there's a lot of motivation. Now, here's the extra question. Given that you've said you want this new thing in your life, this improvement, this goal, this outcome in your life for 2023, and on a scale of 1 to 10, you're like 8, 9, 10, pretty motivated to do it, for what reason? What will this outcome do for you? Write down the answer. What will this outcome do for you when you've achieved this goal? You're basking in that success. What specifically will this do for you? How will it add happiness, success, joy, satisfaction? How would you know that? How? What will this do for you? What? In coaching, we often ask what questions all the time because they force our brain, our unconscious mind, to come up with real, meaningful, personalized answers. So when we've achieved this goal, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're motivated, we achieve this goal, what will this do for us? Now, the reason for asking this question is we're clear about the why. We're clear about the why. I want this outcome for this specific reason. This will give me and it may be the step to something bigger. We don't know. A scale of 1 to 10, I'm motivated because this will do this for me. Okay. Hopefully you've written that down. If you need to think about it, just pause the video. We're going to measurable. We need to measure our progress because there's no measurement, there's no progress. Because how would we know? Well, kind of, no, you won't. And it'll just get sliding and that'll be the end of it. So how will you measure? And in NLP, we often talk about sensory specific evidence. What will you see? What will you hear? And what will you feel? Now, for me, when I work with people, I want to break this down. Okay, we're clear about what we want. We're motivated. We know the reason for this. If I get this, this will do this for me. So what will I see, hear, and feel that says I've made a good start? What will I see, hear, and feel that says, yes, I've made a great start? What will I see, hear, and feel that says I'm well on my way? I'm well on my way. I'm beginning to see and hear, and people are saying, wow, you're looking skinny and fit because you've been going to the gym or you've been on that great health kick or whatever it is. And when I'm pretty much there and I'm about to cross the threshold into success, what will I see? What will I hear? What will I feel? What will people be saying? What will I be saying to myself? And then finally, when it's in the bag. I've got it. What will I see? What will I hear? And what will I feel? Take your time and answer the questions. This is important because without this sensory specific evidence or self-contracting, if you will, I'm contracting with myself and my unconscious mind that says each step of the way, this is evidence of progress. And without this, I may need to do something different, alter my behavior, learn something new, get somebody to come and give me a hand. So I need that feedback. I need that constant feedback to let me know I'm going in the right direction. Now we need to do a reality check. Is this achievable? Is this a realistic endeavor? Am I in control of this process? Because we might say things, well, I'd like to win the lottery this year, £4 million in the bank, that'll be marvelous. But am I able to control that? No, I am not. Now, this is the thing about well-formedness. How much control of this do I actually have? Because if it's down to loads and loads of other people, like a committee of people, then I'm not in control. So whatever the goal is, you must be able to get in the bus and drive it. You're the one that starts the process, is in control of the process, and will achieve the process. It can't be outsourced to a lot of other people or situations. So it needs to be achievable and realistic that you can start it and finish it. Now, when we think about we're going to do something new, it's going to take some resources. And people often think, yeah, but what though? The first one is time. You're going to make a change. It'll probably take some time and perhaps effort and maybe sweat, blood and tears, you might say, but it will take effort. Changing our habits is hard work. until it actually happens, and then it happens in a heartbeat. So what resources do we need to enable this goal to become a reality for us? Is it we need time, so we need to block the time out? Do we need some particular equipment, maybe a running machine? So do we need to join a gym or join a running club, or are we sort of motivated with just a headset on just to run? Or maybe perhaps we want to buy some, dumbbells at home, or maybe a book on how to get fit and lose weight, or perhaps engage a coach to help us get ready for that job interview, for that dream job. Who knows? But look at what you've written. Remember, your goal is written there. What is it saying? What resources are required to make this a reality? What resources are required to make this a reality? Make a list and ensure that you get them. Because you can't start climbing the mountain without the mountain climbing equipment. It's not possible. You need all of the right kit, all of the right resources. Ensure they're in place before you set off on that journey. Now, if you don't have things, in a way, they then become the goal, so that you can, recycle, chunk down, right, I need this so I can do that, and so on and so on and so on. So get all of the resources you need to be able to move forward. Now, remember, sometimes resources is knowledge or some learning. I need to figure this out before I need to go on that course. I need to get the coach. I need to read that book before I set off on this particular journey. So well, imagine you've got all the resources. Now, once again, if you're still thinking about resources, pause the video, write them down, and then come back to the video. Okay, time frame. When specifically is this going to be achieved? Now, this is important, but even before we sort of put an end date on this, we should start with, when am I going to start? And the start thing is actually super important. When are you going to start? And an end date's important, but you might need to be flexible on that. But it's good to have a target. It's good to have a target. We're working towards X date. So what I'd like you to do is think about two questions here. And once again, I need you to be honest with yourself, and you need to be realistic. So the first question is, what's the start date? Now, I'm going to suggest you start sooner rather than later, like almost today. Like in a few minutes' time when you finish this video. Start writing things down. Put it in your diary. Tell other people you're going to do this great thing, so that they will sort of motivate you and help you and support you. And then put an end date. I want to have the job by this date. I want to be this particular weight and fitness level at this particular date. I want to enroll on that marathon at this particular date. I want to go and look at the new house at this particular, whatever the goal is, I have a target date. Now, without that target date, what happens is it just keeps on moving forward, and then literally just falls off the horizon, and then it never happens. So you must have a date. Put it in your diary, in your planner, whatever thing that you use to organize your schedule. Now, if you need some time again, pause the video and then come back. But I'll imagine that you're going to already be doing that, and we're good to go on to the next step. And the next step is steps. What are the steps? But in particular, what's the first step? And I cannot underline or, make, this is one of the most important things. Do something straight away, like today. So what's the first step today? When you get to the end of this video, what's the first thing you're going to do that ensures that wheel begins to spin, that you begin to move towards the activity that is required to make your goal a reality? What's the first step? Write it down, write it down, write it down. Now, once you've written that down, what else? What else? What else? Now, the what else question is important, because you think, okay, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? What else do I need? And then. So begin to develop a strategy, a sort of road plan, a roadmap, if you will, about how you're going to get to where you want to be. Now, one of the things you could do, of course, is, sit comfortably in your chair, close your eyes, dream into the future, and say, right, this is it. I'm in the future and I've achieved my goal. And you look back and think all of the steps that you had to take to get there, all the things you did do to get there. But ensure that you have and written down. Write it down. Now, if you're thinking about it and you take some time, pause the video and come back to it when you're ready. What's the first step? What must you do today? What else? What else? What else? And then. So there's a roadmap, strategy to move you forward. Now, personal development is super powerful. Turn my life around, turns our clients' lives around with the organizations that we work with. They have enhanced productivity and more success in what they do because we're investing in us, which makes us better citizens, better employees, better husbands, better wives, better boyfriends, better girlfriends, whatever it is. Just better, more. The idea of personal development is that we become the best version of ourselves that we've ever been, continually growing and developing. So other powerful personal development ideas that work are journaling. Now, journaling, it's not expensive. All you need to do is get a copybook. There's one here, look, and start writing down. So people say, well, how do I start that? Well, okay, start. Get something and start writing down. So start off with, okay, what I'd like in the future that would be better for me and my family or my community is maybe a list of things. And okay, so I've set myself some goals. How am I getting on? Journaling the journey towards your outcome. And during that process, you might want to think every now and again, okay, I've done a couple of pages, maybe once a week, we write something in about how we're getting on. You take a day and you could do something different. You go, okay, let's have a gratitude day. I'm grateful for. And just list the things that you're grateful for in your life or the progress that you've made. This will enrich your soul. This will enrich your life. Trust me, there's a ton of science behind the power of journaling. Now, reading personal development books, again, will unlock that positivity, that energy, that motivation within you. And there are a lot of personal development books on the market. Some are really, really great. They really, really are. You could enroll on a personal development course. And there are all sorts of courses, and I got a couple of examples for you in a moment. Or you could indeed engage a personal life coach, because there's nothing more powerful than that. Having somebody to work with you 100%, one focused on you and your personal or indeed professional development. That really is powerful. So with the UK College of Personal Development, that goes without saying. So a couple of options for you. So why study NLP? I've talked about NLP so many times in these videos. I'm pretty sort of sold on the power that it has to unlock all of those potentials that we've got within ourselves. So we have a free course on the website, Why Study NLP. Just go onto the website and click on personal development box, and then you'll see all of these different programs. Kickstart your personal development. It's a self-study program. It's $14.95, so it's not a king's ransom. Lots of different modules in the course, and we also send you out a couple of books in the post. Perhaps you'd like to do something live with a bunch of other people. So NLP and coach training taster day. You think, well, my personal development, I don't want to be a coach, but I might be interested in the mechanism of that. So I could use that in my work or on myself and use a couple of NLP tools and models to help me improve my life or work on my other goals that we've already covered. So we've got a taster day on the 4th of February, and it's $9.95. And again, we send you a couple of books in the post. So one of the bigger programs, ACT, Personal Development Program, that my colleagues run. It's a bit of a big investment. So it's an evening class over 10 weeks, a big, long thing that will really help you set some goals, figure out what's really important to you, and work on that and move forward. Or perhaps it's a one-to-one personal coaching program. And so a brand new service that we're offering now. Just go onto the website, click on the bottom right-hand corner. You'll see one-to-one coaching packages. Click on that and you'll be able to pick one of those, or indeed get in touch and we'll be able to help you with that as well. Or personal development books. On our website, click on books, and you'll be able to see lots and lots of options for books that are relatively inexpensive, which will hopefully help you start moving forward and thinking about what it is that you actually want to do. Okay, so let me just put my glasses back on so I can see what I'm doing. Now, remove. There we go. So one of the key things I would say to you at this point is, if you've worked your way through this, you've got a firm foundation now to start moving forward. If you've just watched the video passively, my suggestion is you go back to the start, have the bits of paper like I've suggested, do the exercises, and really engage in that process. And I think you'll find it will make a big, big, big difference. So look, hopefully you found this helpful. My name's Tony, and I wish you every success and happiness during 2023 and beyond. So till then, take care of yourself. Bye for now.